right. Good morning, PT on Ice viewers. Welcome to the Daily Show. It's PT on Ice Daily Show. It's Friday. It's Fitness Athlete Friday, but more importantly, it's Veterans Day. So I want to take just a minute and say thank you to any current or former service man or woman. Thank you so much for your service to this country. That sentence seems overplayed and underjust, but from on behalf of everyone else in this great, beautiful nation, we deeply appreciate your service. And if you're taking on a workout today, I hope it's in honor of some current, former active military, or like we're doing in the gym, we're doing a workout Chad, and we're also doing the workout Bert, both of which are hero wads, both are which are meant to take you in kind of a dark, grinding place today, in memory of those that have came back with trauma, PTSD, since their service. So if you are taking that on like we are, be sure to tag Ice Physio. Let us know kind of what your workout is today and how you're honoring those veterans on today's Veterans Day. It was also brought to my attention this morning that today is 11/11/22. 11/11/22. That's crazy. I'm sure somebody out there is getting married today, and then that's a cool little anniversary that their husband will still forget, I'm sure. But that's a little bit about what's today about. And we have some courses coming up. I will be in Baton Rouge this weekend. We also have a lot of stuff going on. If you check the PTI's website, the new website, and you click our courses, and it'll pull up right on the side all the stuff that's coming and going on this weekend and also next weekend. Right now, the dry needling upper quadrant course is going on down in Hendersonville, Tennessee at Onward Tennessee. I'll be in Baton Rouge, like I mentioned. We've got extremity management this weekend going on. We've got the modern management of the older adult this weekend going on. We've got that. Actually, modern management has 2 classes going on this weekend because they're busy. Next weekend, though, we've got the injured runner course, cervical spine management course, and then pregnancy postpartum course, as well as an extremity management course next weekend. So we've got a lot of courses coming next weekend as well. So be sure to check our website, check the geo map when all the courses are coming in your area so that you don't miss something in your backyard that you would have liked taking. It would have been a good time. Today's topic on Fitness Athlete Friday is brought to you by a little Instagram rant maybe I had yesterday, but really geared towards the patient. And as physical therapist, I'm sure I'm going to be preaching to the choir for the next few minutes. And by all means, feel free to share this as well. But mostly, I want to talk to the patient. So if you have, as physical therapists listening to this podcast, you have someone that comes to mind, maybe share this podcast with them. And if you're getting this podcast shared to you, know that whoever shared it with you is sending it to you probably out of love for you, right? Out of deep respect and care for you as a person and as your longevity and your health. They care for you deeply and they want you to know the literature so that you can make a better decision about the rest of your life. And the topic today is never lift again. Quote, never lift again. There was a Instagram post on the social media world. And it was just covering some basic strength and conditioning movements, some strength barbell movements. And as I was reading through some of the comments on it, one stuck out to me. And the comment said, and I'm going to quote this because I want to get this right. Her comment said, "Due to further disc degeneration, I cannot load up. What are some alternatives that you have for me?" And I just stopped for a minute and I was like, man, this, like, how unfortunate to, be in that spot where you believe your disc degeneration to literally not allow you to load up for the rest of your life. And there's so many problems there. There's so many, mistruths, or as we like to say now, misinformation in that post that it's worth exploring. And so I tried to summarize my thoughts in an Instagram post the other day, but I felt like it needed a little bit more unpacking, right? And the reason this bothers us so much is because it's way too oversaid in the medical system. There's way too many providers that say this sentence and it flies off of their tongue and they don't realize the kind of harm that they're doing. They don't realize the lie that they're telling, and they don't realize how many more years the patient's going to carry that with them. And that's the big loss, right? The medical system, and that can be PTs, like our profession takes responsibility for this. Chiros take responsibility for this. MDs, DOs need to take responsibility for this as well. As when a medical provider looks at someone and says, oh, like with what you have going on, you should never lift again. And that is fundamentally not true. And I'm going to explain a couple reasons why. Why they're saying that is to feed their own ego. That only. They want to feed their own ego in being the person who got the right diagnosis, or wanting to show you how much they know about that diagnosis and what that's going to look like for the rest of your life. Not only do they not really know the diagnosis, they don't know if that diagnosis really matters to your pain or not. And they also don't know what you have in store for the rest of your life. And so them throwing that sentence out to you in the middle of a 6-minute treatment session or consultation they have with you, and this individual carries it forward for who knows how many years. I have disc degeneration. I can't, my doc, my provider, my PT, my chiro told me I should never lift again. And so they spend the rest of their years in a fear-induced state, worried about the state of their back, not lifting anything heavy, not allowing their body to get stronger and more robust. That's actually going to allow them to feel better, resolve some of their back pain that they have in the first place. But every time life calls for them to bend over and pick something up, they're going to remember the words you said that they should never lift again. And they're going to be asking themselves, is this too heavy? Is this what the doctor meant that I shouldn't be doing? Is this when I get hurt? Is this when I do more damage to my degenerative disc condition? It puts such a bad thought virus, a cancer that spreads inside of that individual that is so hard to shake. And the reason that providers like myself, providers at ICE Physio, the providers listening to this podcast, the providers probably sharing this podcast with you, the reason we get so fired up about that is because it's so wrong. And we want so much better for you for the rest of your life. We want so much more for your years to come. We want you to resolve that back pain. We want you to know that that diagnosis they gave you not only was bullcrap, but also has no matter on whether or not your symptoms get better or worse, whether or not you get resolved on pain, you get stronger, and you have the rest of your life that you look forward to having, right? They have labeled you with this diagnosis, and we are working diligently to peel it off of you. And I'm not just saying this for like lack of research or support in the evidence. We have good evidence now, and I'm going to cite one paper, and I'm not going to get too researchy. I'm not going to get too in the weeds because I don't like that stuff either, right? But there's one paper you should know about. It's Brzezinski and colleagues in 2015 in Spine Journal. And this looked at asymptomatic individuals, running them through an MRI with diagnosis. Again, these are asymptomatic people, no pain, right? Running them through the MRI and seeing what these diagnoses showed up. What was the prevalence of these diagnoses showing up in these people across different age groups from 20 years old to 80 years old? And what was the prevalence of these degenerative disc disorders showing up in people without pain? That's the key point here. These people do not have pain. For degenerative disc disease, if you're in your 20s, the percentage of that showing up is 37% in people without any pain at all. If you're in your 30s, it's 52%. If you're in your 40s, it's 68%. And then it goes up from there. 50s is 80% of people without pain in their 50s will have degenerative disc disease. 88% of people in their 60s, 93% of people in their 70s, and 96% of people in their 80s. That is a linear and direct correlation between age and degenerative disc disease findings on MRI in all people without pain. It's important that we know this information because that tells us that likely in a conclusion of the study is that this is likely a normal part of aging and unassociated with pain. If you have been labeled with degenerative disc disease, know that that is like having wrinkles on your face. That's like having gray hairs on the inside, if I can quote some of my mentors here. That is a normal physiological part of the aging process and is likely not associated with your pain because all of these people didn't have pain and had this on MRI finding. I am not saying that you don't have back pain. I am saying that the degenerative disc disease label that someone gave you is likely not the culprit of that, which means that you shouldn't be given this advice to never load up again. That's false advice. The advice you should be given is working with someone who can help manage your symptoms, whatever they are, and then slowly teach you how to get stronger over time. Slowly instruct you how to hinge over, how to strengthen your core and your low back. What can we do to strengthen the low back so that this doesn't flare up again? How can we teach you how to bend over and lift safely? You need to learn good mechanics so that we can progress those mechanics under load. And then once we do that, your deadlift starts to increase. And that gives you capacity. That gives you a window to operate real life in. Meaning, if my deadlifts goes from 50 pounds to 250 pounds, there is a lot of normal things that I will encounter in real life that are going to be sub 250 pounds that will likely not irritate my back. And that's what's important. Not the degenerative disc disease label that you have that is just simply wrinkles on the inside. It is a normal, unavoidable part of aging. You're not going to MRI a 70-year-old's low back and not find degenerative disc disease on it. You just don't get out of this life without having any wrinkles on your face. It doesn't happen. Okay. So don't get scared by that label. Know that there are many providers out there, numerous providers, the providers listening to this story and the providers sharing this with you if they think of you when this comes to mind, that are not moved by that diagnosis at all. That is irrelevant information to them. What matters to them is how you're moving, how you're feeling, how your symptoms are behaving, and what things you want to do when pain is no longer on the table. What would you do if pain didn't if you didn't have low back pain every single day? Those are the things that we're interested in, and those are the providers you need to seek out. Nothing makes us more mad than hearing from a patient when they come and sit down to us that so-and-so provider told me I have this disease and I should never lift again. It should be medical malpractice. It should be criminal, and they should be charged for it. So if you're someone, and I know that's not the people listening to this podcast, but if that's you out there, you need to check yourself fast. You need to check yourself by the evidence and say, why am I saying the things I'm saying? What degree gave me the right to redirect the rest of somebody else's life in a negligent direction, right? Ask yourself why that is. And then the patients coming to see us, know that you should be seeing a second opinion. Know that if someone that you ran into, a provider, a chiropractor, a PT, gave you that advice, that it was bad advice, it was misinformation, and you need a second opinion. And be confident in knowing that the literature is in your favor, that says, you know what? I don't think I'm my diagnosis. I don't think I am the MRI thing that they're telling me I am. It's an expensive picture that does not explain the pain process going on. So meet with someone who can understand what you're dealing with, what you're suffering with, and help you load up and get stronger over time. There's nothing more valuable than having someone come in who thinks that they will never lift again. And over the course of a couple weeks and a couple sessions, teaching them how to manage their pain, calm their symptoms down, and then teaching them how to lift safely and be strong. And then when they leave your care, they're like, wow, I went from thinking I would never deadlift again to thinking the deadlift is my new favorite movement. That is someone's life who's redirected on the right path again. Don't be the provider who's out there telling them that they have a diagnosis that they will never lift again. Not only is it wrong information, you are significantly harming someone. You are doing harm to them by changing the rest of their life into a state of fear and movement avoidance. Don't be that provider. And patients, don't be labeled by that. Seek a second opinion and go get some help from somebody that can help guide you in that direction. There are so many clinicians. If you don't know where to find one, you go to ptonice.com and search and click the Find a Clinician tab, and you will find somebody in your backyard. Somebody in your backyard who understands this material and can help you get to a better state, right? Reach out to them, people. We have a full catalog of clinicians on there. We're very proud of that catalog that's growing every single weekend as we teach courses and lock shields with other providers that want to do it a better way. So thanks for listening to my rant a little bit today. Patients, individuals that are non-medical providers, thanks for tuning into an episode that you probably don't normally tune into. I appreciate that. And thank you for those that have shared that podcast out. Once again, happy Veterans Day to those of you who have served our country. We appreciate it so much. And take a minute to reach out and text a veteran that you know, check in on them, ask them how they're doing, and see if you can meet and hang out and catch up a little bit. They would appreciate that. Okay, team, have a wonderful Friday. I'm off to the airport, catch a flight to Baton Rouge. So I will see all the good folks from Go, CrossFit, and Delta down there in Baton Rouge this afternoon. So looking forward to hanging out. Y'all take care and be super well. See ya.